Hello and welcome. It's Brett Taylor here, and today I have Matt Hill, who needs little in the way of an introduction. Matt is the 2012 Canadian Tour Dakota Dunes Casino Open champion, which was very recently in Saskatchewan. The week prior, he was second at the Syncrude Boreal Open, and so far this year on the Canadian Tour, midway through, or most of the way through, his worst finish is a tie for 8th. As most would know, formerly the number 2 amateur in the world following the 2009 season at NC State. So thanks for joining me today, Matt.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
So just to start with some of the basics, what's your perspective on golf psychology?
Obviously, it's one of the most important parts of the game. A lot of people say it's maybe 10% mental. Who really posts the numbers? But it's definitely a very important part of the golf game and how people become successful at it.
Yeah. Let's just go a little bit towards your most recent success and your win at the Dakota Dunes tournament. What was your mindset, if you can talk a little bit about it on the, for the final round? I know in, the previous week you had finished second, and, what was your mindset going into that final round of the Dakota Dunes Open and maybe the playoff?
I just I didn't really get off to the best start, and I just kind of kept telling myself to be patient and just give yourself some chances, but, play smart golf. So I just kind of made sure I was getting the ball in play, and I gave myself some looks, and fortunately I made some putts too.
Okay. So were you, do you have kind of an expectation to win on the Canadian Tour? Was that a goal of yours going into this year?
Yeah, I guess kind of my main goal is to, before coming out, was to try and finish top 2 on the order of merit and, get on to exemption in the second stage and also qualify for the Canadian Open. So far, it's been nice. I earned the Canadian Open spot, and I'm just going to keep working at it and hopefully, get one of those spots in the second stage of Q school.
Absolutely. No, that's great. What's your take on goals as far as longer term, short term, and how do you deal with goals? Do you keep them in your head? Do you write them down?
Yeah, I've set goals usually at the start of the year, and then some days when I'm practicing, I'll kind of set a goal for what I want to achieve. I've never really written them down. I just kind of keep it in my head, and at the end of the day, realize if I achieve my goal, kind of feel better about yourself after that. So I think they're definitely important, and they kind of allow you to make you work hard to achieve your goals. At least if you're writing the proper goals down, it's something that's obviously tough but attainable.
Yeah. So you have kind of more daily goals that you sort of set up at the beginning of the day. Is that kind of when you're going to practice?
Yeah, I'll kind of think about what I need to work on, and for example, I usually for my short game I'll practice up and down. I'll pick 15 random shots around the green and have to get at least like 11 out of 15 up and down, or do it again.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about expectation. You kind of mentioned before about wanting to win on the Canadian Tour and top 2 on the order of merit and that sort of thing. What are your expectations, if you can talk about it, for your career and longer term? And I think it's probably obvious that as a Canadian Tour player, I assume you want to be on the PGA Tour. Can you talk about your longer term goals a little bit?
Yeah, I've always thought of myself as kind of been at least pretty patient the last couple of years, but when I was in college, I kind of set a goal to keep getting better every year, obviously, but, you know, I was hoping to maybe get there, to get to the PGA Tour by at least the age of 25. So, you know, I'm not 25 yet, but I feel like I've definitely improved on my game, and you know, I feel like I've got a few more chances to do that. And, you know, if you don't achieve it, then you can let another one make it the next year, the next couple of years. And, you know, I think that's something I still look at all the time. And something I'm trying to achieve every day, really.
Okay. So do you kind of, you know, you kind of mentioned, do you think about that a lot and you know, visualize yourself on the PGA Tour and that sort of thing, or not?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, not a ton, but yeah, once in a while I'll think about it. Kind of think about you know, what it's like out there. I mean, I've played a few events, and you know, just kind of what I need to work on to get myself out there and where it's gone wrong in the past. And also some of the good stuff that I've done out there to kind of boost my confidence as well.
Yeah. Okay. You know, with respect to learning and improvement, you've mentioned that a little bit. Do you spend a lot of time on the mental side of the game specifically, or you know, do you have certain things that you use for learning, or do you read stuff? Do you have you know, coaching? What kind of things do you do to focus on improving your mental game?
I haven't really done a whole lot, you know, the past couple of years. When I was younger, I used to read a few books and you know, some of the Bob Rotella stuff, listen to tape, and you know, I feel like I learned a lot from that at the time. But you know, I think now I've got to a point where I'm just trying to learn my habits and kind of learning about myself. And sometimes, you know, I feel like you can learn that the best on your own. So
Yeah.
that's kind of something I've been doing the last 2 years, and you know, maybe keeping track of more things that I've been doing. And obviously, I work with my coach Ralph Bauer, who's been really big influence on my game, and I feel like kind of steered me in the right direction quite a few times. And you know, I almost feel like Ralph kind of almost turned into a mental coach for me, because we're not really working on the golf swing all day. We don't do a whole lot of technical stuff, but kind of more about thinking about the shots, and, you know, where are your energy levels during the round, you know, kind of everything about the game. So yeah, I feel like you know, and my buddy started caddying for me recently, so you know, having them together, and you know, I feel like that helps a lot, and that's definitely a big mental part of it.
Yeah. Okay. And you obviously your form this year seems to be, or your results are quite good this year compared, I think, to the last couple. And just reflecting back to 2009, did you take home any sort of memories there that may have helped you on the mental side of the game? Was there anything you did in, you know, late 2008 that led you to such a strong 2009, or any habits there that maybe you got away from and picked back up on again, or anything like that?
Yeah, I feel like my game, I mean, I feel like it's better than it was in 2009. But, you know, I feel like I've practiced more intensely, or kind of like how I was in 2009. And I'm enjoying myself on the golf course a lot more, and I'm more relaxed than I was the last 2 years. And I feel like I'm more confident out there as well. I'm not really worried about the results. So, yeah, I think that's kind of similar to what I was doing in 2009. And, you know, keep trying to get better. So, you know, hopefully I can figure some stuff out this year that I need to be better for next year, and work on that too.
Yeah. And, you know, how important, you mentioned Ralph Bauer and listening to some Rotella stuff, how important is the people around you and your team, if I can call them that you know, contribute to your success? And do you have other people? I mean, you had mentioned that Ralph talks to you about the mental side, and even as far as nutrition, like, do you have people that help you with fitness and all these sorts of areas as well?
I have in the past. I don't really have anyone currently that I'm working with on fitness going crazy out there and, working really hard with my coaches. It's just kind of figuring out what'll best prepare me for the event.
Yeah. Okay. Can you take me through a little bit or talk about, your pre-shot routine from a mental perspective and, what you're thinking behind the ball and over the ball and that sort of thing? Can you take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, I just kind of get my yardage and then I'll think about usually what shot. I'll look at the 10 on my yardage book and then, I'll kind of figure out a place where I want to be putting from. So, then I'll pick my club and kind of visualize the shape and the trajectory of the height I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's pretty well the start of it. Is I'm visualizing, the club and the shape and the trajectory of my shot and where I want the ball to start and where I want it to end. And then I'll take my practice swing, take a deep breath and then go from there and try not to take too long over the ball. If you're taking, I usually, do a quick waggle and then kind of hit it. And, I feel like if I just keep that routine the whole time instead of taking too long over the ball, then I'm not really going to be, I'm just going to be, going through my process, trying to execute the shot, not have any other thoughts.
Okay. So in those final stages when you get behind the ball, then you just kind of look at a target and, kind of react to the target or try to just produce the shape of the shot and the height that you would visualize?
Yeah, well, I've got a lot, obviously, one part I missed in there actually. I feel like over the last 3 months I've worked a lot on kind of my setup for the shape that I'm hitting.
Okay.
So, I feel like for me that's a big part of it. It's not just kind of reacting to the shot. I got to set up to the shot and then I kind of know what my swing's doing from there and also where my finish position was as well. So, It's not really like I'm thinking about my swing though. I just kind of set up and then visualize the shot and go from there.
Yeah, so it's not mechanical. It's just, just visualizing where you want your position to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. And you kind of mentioned visualization in there, visualizing the shot. Do you use visualization off the course at all as far as preparing for your round or, course management, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I do that quite a bit on practice. When I'm not practicing, I'm not really visualizing it too much. I try to come off the golf course in a way from the area. I don't really do a whole lot of golf-related stuff other than in the gym. But, yeah, when I'm practicing, I'll think of shots that I hit in the past and how I was setting up for that. And try and go through that with those shots.
Okay. So you visualize a bit on the course, a little bit off the course, and I think you mentioned before you visualize, your long-term career goals as well. Would that be accurate?
Yep.
Okay. And so just keeping on track with practice, you had mentioned, so when you're practicing then, you're kind of visualizing shots and before you hit them, is that kind of where you use that?
Yeah.
Okay. And is putting the same?
Yeah. Putting, yeah, I'm kind of obviously making sure my setup's perfect. And then from there, kind of visualizing the point I want to, like where my ball, I kind of visualize, the line of my putt. I kind of see the ball just rolling along that line, and then I'll put the spot out on that line. And then I feel like the more you practice, the better your speed is. So that doesn't quite, it comes a little bit from mentally, but, the speed is definitely, I feel like, a little bit more practice as well and your ability.
Okay. So, but you pick a spot on your line somewhere between, the ball and the hole and try to roll it over that.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. You had kind of mentioned a little bit earlier about being, more relaxed and trying to enjoy, golf a little bit more and kind of contributed to some success in your results. Can you talk about that optimal attitude that may work for Matt Hill and, what it is that you need to sort of focus on and think about on a daily basis to really get in that right frame of mind?
Yeah, it's, when I'm on the course, it's not really staying away from results and kind of, just being relaxed out there and kind of having honestly, like a no-care attitude. Like, it doesn't really, obviously I'm going to try and hit the shot as best I can, but I'm not really worrying about the results, and I'm not, if I hit a bad shot or miss in the wrong spot, I'm not going to, there's no pressure on me to I'm not going to get mad after it. So I've kind of changed that way this year, and I feel like it's contributed a bit to my results as well.
So how do you, it's pretty easy to kind of say that, and I think a lot of people try to do that, but how do you not care about the results when you're in the heat of battle? And obviously you want to win the event, but at the same time you have to be kind of relaxed and not too concerned about the outcome. How do you manage that?
I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of something I feel like I've learned this year through, I don't know exactly, but really it's kind of hard to explain it. Kind of thought about my attitude, try to, be relaxed out there and not really worry about it.
Okay.
Control me, can't really control.
Yeah.
Anything else that happens, get a bad break, that kind of thing, laugh about it.
Yeah. Do you feel, obviously you expect to win out there on the Canadian Tour. You kind of feel like it doesn't matter if I win this time or not, because I'm going to win anyway. Is there any of that in there?
I think there's probably going to be more of that now than there has been in the past, especially after playing well, coming into those Canadian tour events, and then getting my first win. I feel like it kind of made me a little bit more confident now that I know I can do it. Yeah.
Okay. And you had mentioned partly in your routine is taking a deep breath and trying to be relaxed. Is that connected there too? Have you worked on that, breathing exercises and whatnot? And does that help you to relax?
I honestly haven't really worked on it. Kind of tried to fit it in there when I'm practicing.
Okay. Is there anything else that kind of comes to your mind that helps you to be successful in your mindset?
Yeah, knowing that I feel like gearing into every tournament that I feel like I've done pretty well, almost everything I could do to be prepared for the event. Worked on every aspect of my game to make sure it's feeling good. So I feel like that's important too. And then, I step up to the first tee and I know I'm prepared, so it kind of makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. Okay. And so what's your plans for the rest of this year?
I'm going to play the rest of the Canadian Tour schedule, and then maybe try and do a few nationwide qualifiers here and there. And I guess after that, just kind of see where I'm at, and then get ready for Q school. But I feel like kind of getting ready for Q school is just trying to get your game in the right place right before it. So I feel like I'll try and play as many events as I can right before then. My game starts.
Okay. And just a couple of more questions. Some players use affirmations, kind of self-talk and saying different phrases and whatnot. And and speaking with Chris Kilmer, I just interviewed him recently, and one of the things that he says to himself is, I want to play great. And that's kind of a neat phrase, and I think it works very well, obviously, for him. Do you have anything that you kind of say to yourself when you're on the golf course, or even when you're not on the golf course, that relates to your game, that's kind of from a mental perspective?
No, nothing crazy. I feel like the only thing I kind of done the last little bit of when I hit a bad shot is I just kind of walk off the tee and kind of say to myself, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. One shot.
Yeah. You just kind of,
the rest of them good.
That's your way of kind of dismissing it and moving on to get focused on the next shot then.
Exactly. Move on and not really worrying about size yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you giving me the time to chat with you today and talk about the mental strength that you have that have, made you successful. And, as I always do, I want to give you the final word, Matt, to, make a final recommendation to the listeners or to shout out if you have one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to, obviously I feel like I wouldn't be here without my parents, my brother, and my coach, Ralph Bauer. They helped me a lot throughout the game, making great decisions on and off the golf course. So, I feel like it's definitely been a huge part of my golf career. And probably wouldn't have had the success I have today without them.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks again, and best of luck the rest of this season and the future.
All right, thank you.
All right.